everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lottie and this is my Heir of Fire reading vlog. So of course Heir of Fire is the third book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and I have been vlogging and documenting my thoughts and feelings on this series with each book, and I am finally getting to the third one. I really wanted to continue on with this series immediately after I read Crown of Midnight, but I had a few readathons that were coming up. There was the Magical Readathon, there was Bookoplathon, there was Spoopathon, and I tried really hard to get this book on those TBRs, but unfortunately it just didn't fit. So it has been a little while since I read Crown of Midnight, but I'm very excited to finally be getting back into this series. So if you have been following along and watching each of my vlogs on this series, you'll know that I didn't really like Throne of Glass and then I really enjoyed Crown of Midnight. I feel like the complete turn in my enjoyment of those books was just a complete 180. I'm really intrigued to see what happens in Heir of Fire. As with every video in this series, major spoiler warnings for Throne of Glass. If you haven't read it, I will be talking spoilers in these videos. So at the end of Crown of Midnight, Selena was off to the Fairylands, which I can't remember what it was called, and also we found out that she is actually the missing Princess Aelin. I'm really intrigued to see what happens in this book. I've heard that this book introduces a lot of major players in the series, as I've learned more about the series in general. This book I think introduces a lot of major players for later in the series, which I'm really interested to meet and find out. I have heard a lot of mixed feelings on this book that I wasn't expecting. One of my friends has said that this is one of the best books because it introduces all these characters and it reveals so much. But I've also heard Ro talk about on her channel she DNF'd the series at this book. So I'm really interested to see how I react to it. I do think I am going to enjoy it, but we will see. I really hope I do enjoy it because I would like to finish the series. So obviously I haven't started it yet, but I am hoping that I can start it this evening and finish it within the week, because this is a long one. This book is 500 pages. Yeah, 562 pages I think. So it's getting chunkier, but I know that this series does get longer and longer with each book. The last one is 1,000 pages long. But yeah, I am excited to document what's going on with this book. Good morning everybody, it is Halloween and I'm really not feeling in the spooky mood today. I think I'm just spooky out because of Spoopathon. I read loads of spooky books and now I don't want anything to do with it anymore, which is really sad because I love Halloween. I'm just fed up, I guess. The clocks went back last night by an hour and I woke up at 20 to 8 because obviously my body thought it was 20 to 9, and I was like, yes, I can have a good day, I can get lots done. And then I went back to sleep almost immediately. I've basically just woken up, so I think it's 11 AM by this point. So I feel like I've lost a lot of the day already, but never mind. It is Sunday, so I don't really have a lot planned. I just need to do some house stuff. But I would like to spend some time reading my book. I'm really excited for the Spoopathon final live show tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. So last night I did start Heir of Fire, and I didn't realise this until after I'd already started it and looked that Assassin's Blade actually came out a few months before Heir of Fire. For some reason I thought it was a few months before Queen of Shadows, but I'm not gonna stop now. I'm just gonna read Assassin's Blade next instead. I don't think I'll miss anything too much in Heir of Fire that could have been a reference from Assassin's Blade. Assassin's Blade is a prequel anyway, some people read it or before they even read the entire series, so it's not going to make much of a difference. But I only got about 50 pages through yesterday. I was really struggling to get into it. I just couldn't focus on the words. I don't know if I was distracted or tired or what, but I just couldn't focus. But a lot of it was just sort of recapping what's already happened with Selena anyway, and then sort of setting things up for this book. It's a longer book, it's over 500 pages, so it's definitely gonna go in
more depth, I guess, with the world. There was a bit of world building, but a lot of it was sort of just, this is what has happened up to this point in the book. And I was a bit like, why are you telling me this instead of just showing the reader what was happening at the time instead of telling us after the fact? I hate telling instead of showing. I don't see the point. Just show it on page. But it's gone to a point now where Selena is now like about to meet the Fae, I think, in the Fae part of Wendlin. So I'm really excited to see what happens next with that. I would like to try and paint my nails today. I bought a red nail polish specifically for Halloween and I still haven't painted my nails just because I haven't found the time, but I would like to do that today. But I'm about to go and get some breakfast now and then we will see where the day takes me. Now a few days later, in fact I think it's been nearly a week since I did an update. I've barely read any of Heir of Fire. I'm 206 pages in. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. It's not that I dislike it, I've been finding it really hard to get into. It's been a lot of world building. There's definitely a lot more to the world now than in the first two books. We're definitely seeing a lot more stuff to do with like the magic and the history of magic and to do with the Fae. And also we've got like a bunch of new perspectives thrown in there. There's a lot to do with Manon and like I suppose they're like a witch people. I don't really know what's going on with them because every time I get to one of Manon's chapters I'm just sort of I black out and I'm not really paying that much attention. I know it's going to be something pretty important to do with what's happening later on, probably to do with the whole series, but I'm just not into that. I don't really care. What's going on with Selena / Aelin? I'm into seeing her sort of starting to use her powers more and getting to know Rowan, who is a character I'm really interested in. I'm enjoying all of that side, and then the stuff that's going on with Kale and Dorian and this elf general person, Adian, who I think is Selena's cousin. I'm really interested to see what's going on with them, more so now. I've just gotten to the point where Kale has revealed that Aelin is alive and that she is actually Selena and to Adian, and sort of Adian I think is on team Aelin. He's not actually a bad guy like we sort of were led to believe at the very start of the book. But I am starting to enjoy it more so now at the 200 page mark than I did at first. It's just I've not had a lot of time this week to just sit and read. I've basically only been reading during my commute in drips and drabs. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get some reading done today. I've just gotten home from work, so I've got a few things that I would like to do today. I have a video I need to edit, I need to wash my sheets, but I would like to spend the rest of this weekend reading if I can. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want to set a TBR for November and December, because I just knew I would need to mood read, and this is obviously taking me longer than I anticipated to read. So I'm hoping to make some progress on it this weekend. So I will update you with more on that. I have also gotten some book mail today, which I'm super excited about. It's from Waterstones, and I'm pretty sure it's my copy of Aurora's End in here, which isn't actually out yet. It comes out on Tuesday, so I'm super hyped to see the book. I just know that I'm gonna want to put this down and read Aurora's End immediately, so I really do want to try and finish this before I start Aurora's End. So let's just let's open it up. It is. I mean, what else was it going to be? I haven't ordered anything else. Oh my god. Oh wow. And that's just the spine. So that's my invoice. I'm so excited to see it. Oh my god. Look at Finn. Oh my god, I love him. It's so annoying though, because it's not going to match my paperbacks. I'm going to have to get the sprayed edge paperback when it comes out to match my other editions. So yeah, here it is. This is Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. The finale to the Aurora cycle. I love the covers of these books so much. And I love the colour scheme of this one as well. Look at Finn. Oh. I think Finn is probably one of my favourite characters in this series. This is gonna be an epic finale to this series. Oh my god, yeah. I will be resisting the urge to pick this up now, and I will be continuing on with Heir of Fire. How long is it? Out of curiosity, try not to see any spoilers at the end of the book. 493. Okay, it's not actually that long. I say that it's nearly 500 pages, but it's about the same length as the other books, which is good to know. And I like that Jay's author bio has been updated to include Empire of the Vampire now as well. Best-selling Empire of the Vampire. Yeah, did you anticipate that, Jay? I love the green. I love the green on this. It's gorgeous. Oh, I'm gonna have to get the rest of them in hardcover now, though, for God's sake. Hello. It is significantly later since my last update. Probably about 2 weeks, actually. I soft DNF'd Heir of Fire. I just really wasn't feeling it. I think I was in a bit of a slump probably started from Plain Bad Heroines when I read that. I really liked Plain Bad Heroines, but it just really sort of put me into a slump, and then I think, I don't know, life happens, and yeah. So I put down Heir of Fire for a bit and read something else. I read Straight On Till Morning by KJ Sutton to try and just give myself something to read that I didn't feel, I don't want to say pressured, but just that I could take at my own pace, really. And I took my time with that, and it sort of made me feel a lot more refreshed. And so I've picked up Heir of Fire again, and now I'm enjoying it. Sorry, I've just come out of the bath, by the way. This is kind of like the only time of day that I ever really have to do any like vlog updates because of work and what time I get home and all that. But anyway, I'm on page 318 now. I've just gotten to part 2 of the book, and it is starting to pick up. I really kind of just did not care about what was happening in this. It is so dense. I've been tabbing as I've been going, and you can see how many tabs I've put in so far. The green ones are for world building. The blue / purple is like plot stuff. Yellow, if you can even see the yellow, is like character things, and there's a couple of oranges in there for landscaping. But I've run out of orange tabs at the moment, so I haven't been tabbing anything to do with like the world itself, like the physical geography of the world. But yeah, there's a lot of green tabs, so it's been very, very world building heavy. This book has sort of like doubled the size of, what even is the name of the world? Early, from what we know. Like the first two books essentially just take place in the Glass Palace, whereas this is like across 2 continents. It feels very Game of Thronesy in that we've got like 4 or 5 different perspectives and they're all sort of taking turns to tell their story. So I think that's the thing as well, like the story's a lot slower because we have more things happening at the same time, and I don't dislike that. It just was a big change from Crown of Midnight. It's become a lot more like an adult fantasy book in terms of the complexity rather than a young adult fantasy, which is what I was expecting. I have thoughts on the writing. I've never loved Sarah J Maas's writing style, but I'm really sort of questioning some of her choices in this, particularly with the way that she does the perspective changes in the chapters. Like she'll change perspective halfway through a chapter, which I just don't understand. And then the way she breaks up the chapters, like she'll end a chapter in the middle of a scene and then the next chapter will start and it's like the same scene continuing. I don't understand that. Why would you not just end the chapter at the end of a scene? Like I don't get that. So that's something I just don't particularly understand. Another main thing that I wanted to just mention on my thoughts, I have not enjoyed most of this book in terms of what's been happening. It's been very like Selena is training and something is happening with Kale and Adorian, is that his name? And then no, not Adorian. That's me combining Dorian and the other guy's name. Adian, that's it. Adian is too close to Dorian. I'm gonna get so confused. And Manon, I did not give a shit about what was happening with Manon for so long. But now that Abraxos, the Wyvern, has sort of been introduced and like we're seeing her bond with him, I'm really interested to see where that storyline goes. So I'm getting more invested in Manon and what's happening with her. And now Selena has sort of finally started to get some sort of control over her powers, which is making things a little bit more interesting as well. So yeah, the 2 main scenes that I was really invested in were Manon taking Abraxos for his like first flight, and then Selena using her powers on the ice in that cave where there was that creature under the lake. Obviously, if you've read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those are the 2 main scenes that I was invested in, but literally the first 200 pages of this book, I did not understand what was happening and I did not care that I didn't understand. And that's probably why I ended up putting it down for a bit. But I'm finally making some progress. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of the week. It's currently Tuesday, so I'm hoping I'll finish it by the end of the week. We're more than halfway through November now, and I've only finished 1 book, so that's kind of bumming me out a bit, but whatever, it's the end of the year, who cares? Yeah, that's pretty much it from me for this update. I felt like I had to do an update because it's been so long since I've done one. But yeah, that's it. I'm more than halfway through now, and yeah, I'll see you when I next have some thoughts on what's happening. It is now Thursday. I don't really have much of a reading update for you other than to say I love Rowan. Yeah, he's sort of redeemed himself a bit for me. I didn't like him at first, but after the scene with Selena like nearly burning out her magic, I love him. I love him. I feel like Sarah J Maas is hinting at some sort of mating bond between him and Selena, which I wouldn't be surprised at, but
I feel like that's where their relationship is heading. I feel like Selena and Rowan, or Aelin and Rowan, are endgame for this series. So yeah, I love him. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, I don't really have a reading update other than that. Today is Spoopy Hole's Patreon 24-hour readathon, and I have the day off work, so I'm hoping to participate in that and get some reading done today. It would be nice if I could finish this book by the end of today. I have about 150 pages left, but I also have other things that I would like to do today, so I will try and make time for reading. I had a very lazy start to the day. I woke up at like 8:30, but I stayed in bed until about 10:30, and it is now 11:30 and I've only just got out of the shower. So I'm gonna go and get some breakfast and then maybe do some reading. I finally finished it. Initial thoughts, that was a very disappointing installment. I didn't really like it that much. The ending was okay. It was fine. But I just didn't care about what was happening like in most of the book. So I don't care about the ending that much. I will give you a proper update and wrap up the vlog tomorrow because it's getting late and I need to go to bed. Okay, I'm finally wrapping up this vlog. I haven't put it through Compile officially, but I just haven't had time, but I might as well talk through each of the points to sort of give you an idea of how I felt about the book. It was very much a solid 3-star for me. It didn't stand out that much, and as you know, I very nearly DNF'd it at one point. So if we talk about each of the things in Compile, the characters were okay. I really enjoyed Rowan towards the end of the book, and I quite liked seeing Manon. And then our original cast of characters were alright. Dorian is still a wet lettuce for me, apart from the very end when he did something that was quite like, oh my god, you're finally standing up for yourself. What did he do? I actually can't even remember what he did, but he did something and I was quite impressed with it. It shows how much I paid attention to this book. Characters were just all right for me. I think there was just such a big expansion of the perspectives in this that it was quite difficult to get to know a lot of our new characters. So maybe with each of the books in the rest of the series we'll get to know them a little bit more. Atmosphere. I didn't really get a lot of atmosphere from this book, to be honest. A lot of it I wasn't paying attention and I found it really difficult to follow at times. Atmosphere was just okay. I feel like it was really just, there wasn't a lot of like, I didn't feel like I was in the book, whereas when I was reading Crown of Midnight I was very much more invested in what was going on. Writing was just okay, a lot better than Throne of Glass, but it was still quite clunky. It was quite clunky and dense, especially towards the beginning when there was a lot more world building going on. I just found it really difficult to get through. It was a slog. Sarah J Maas is not my favourite writer. I enjoy the worlds that she creates, but I don't like her writing style that much. So it was just sort of like average for me. Plot, that is next, right? C-A-W-P, yeah, plot. Plot was alright. There wasn't really a lot going on in this, to be honest. It was very much a filler book, in my opinion. I think it was an important stepping stone into expanding the world, developing Selena's character, and also sort of getting us ready for the main plot of the series. But for the most part I just did not care about the plot. I found it quite boring, to be honest. It was too much training and not a lot happening in the training. It wasn't until about the 200 mark for me where it started to get interesting. I really enjoyed what was going on with Manon. I found it quite difficult to follow at first because it was a bit random, but after we meet Abraxas and she starts developing her relationship with Abraxas, I quite enjoyed it. I's intrigue, I think. I did not have a lot of intrigue in this, to be honest. I wanted to put it down, I wanted to DNF it. I didn't really care what was happening. It was just like, okay, I'll get through it. And then towards the end it got better. The end brought it back up for me, which is why it's a pretty average book. L, I think, is next for logic. There's not really much to say about that. It made sense. I enjoyed the world building and understanding more of the world, but like I said, it was quite clunky. And then enjoyment. I didn't really enjoy it that much. So yeah, Heir of Fire is a 3-star read for me. It was just okay. I definitely think that it could have been a stronger contender in the series. It just was a big letdown. It was quite boring at the start, too much world building. That was a lot to take in all at once. But towards the end, after about the 200-page mark, towards the end, it got a lot more interesting. And I am looking forward to reading Queen of Shadows, but I'm not like, oh, I have to read it immediately like I was when I finished Crown of Midnight and I wanted to know immediately what was happening next. But I will be reading The Assassin's Blade next because I think I was technically supposed to read it before this book, and I don't know if I had read it before Heir of Fire if I would have enjoyed Heir of Fire more, but it's just like a series of backstories of Selena, I think. So yeah, but I will be reading that next. I'm much more interested to read that than I am to read Queen of Shadows. Hopefully it will live up to expectations, because this was a bit of a disappointment for me, if I'm being honest. I am ready to just put this to rest and not think about it anymore. I don't really think there's much else to say about the book, to be honest. The ending was alright. It wasn't as exciting as Crown of Midnight was, in my opinion, but there wasn't that much revealing going on, and maybe that's why it was a bit of a letdown for me, because it was just a bunch of like info dumpy world building, not a lot happening in the plot. I'm interested to see what's going on with the towers. I'm assuming Tower of Dawn is something to do with one of the obsidian towers that are like the word gates. So I'm assuming that book is like all about one of those towers, because if not, what are the towers going to be about? I'm really hoping that the main plot of the series starts to take a little bit more a prominent role, because at the moment it's still very much going on in the background with like some other random crap happening in the foreground, and I'm just a bit like, I don't see the point of all of this because it doesn't seem to have anything to do with what's actually going on with the main plot. I feel like this book was leading up to be like Selena finally finding something out about the word keys and the word gates. We don't really find out anything until literally like the very end, when she starts talking to Maeve, I think her name is. And it's a bit like, well, I thought that this is what was supposed to be happening in this book, and instead all we got was about 500 pages of her learning to use her powers, which is like, it was interesting, but it wasn't that interesting. So I'm really hoping that it's a little bit better in Queen of Shadows. After I finish The Assassin's Blade, I will finally be at the point in the series where I first heard about the series. I first heard about this Throne of Glass series just as Queen of Shadows came out, and everyone was really excited about that. So I'm hoping that it will be more exciting from then on, but we will see. So that is it for this vlog. Those were my thoughts on Heir of Fire. Very disappointed. I think if I hadn't got all of the books, I would DNF the series at this point. I know Ro from Wandering Through Worlds did DNF this book and the series after this book, and I can see why. It just wasn't it for me. I didn't really like it that much. That is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you made it to the end of the video, leave a flames emoji in the comments to let me know you were here. That's it. Bye!